Next up, we have our last two student speakers, Zoe de Amicis and Alex Gough. These are our student body presidents.
So, I need to be honest, I tried to write this speech several times because I really didn't know where to start. I mean, how do you write a speech where in 2.5 minutes you wrap up 12 years of your life? I mean, this isn't just high school graduations, this is the whole K-12 education system. Last night was the first time the words graduating meant more than no more school. Instead, it was more like someone pouring cold water on me and telling me that I am actually growing up. Graduating is so weird to me. It's kind of like reading those really long book series everyone read as a kid. The beginning is really good, and then the middle you just kind of push through, but everyone tells you that you have to push through because the ending is so good that you just can't miss it. And so now, we're on the last page. You dedicated 12 years of your life into the story. You got attached to the characters, you're immersed in the world. Sometimes it was really boring, and maybe sometimes you wanted to turn the page and be done. But now, you're here. After today, people we've seen almost every day, people we've grown up with and grown apart, today's the last time we're gonna see them. And that's weird, it's weird. This isn't the start of a regular summer vacation and that soon enough we're going to go to another all day soon enough. This is it. The class of 2025 can put the book down. Now most people tend to look forward to growing up because that's when apparently you do all the cool stuff. But all my life, all I wanted was to stay a kid. Now, as I mentioned, I was kind of struggling writing this speech, so I very creatively looked up grad speech themes. And one that popped up was looking forward to the future. Now, this I would have to disagree. Not that we should be pessimists, we should definitely have a positive outlook on life. However, I think there's always this culture of the next thing. It's always, I can't wait for winter break, I can't wait till Friday, after my AP exams, after my math test. It's always the next thing, and funny enough, when that thing comes, nothing changes. I think we're all victims of this mindset, and often we end up missing out because of it. In a couple of minutes, each one of us is going to walk up the stage and get their diploma, and then about every adult in our lives is going to ask us about our future. And with each temptation to get lost in both the excitement and anxiety of what is to come, I invite each one of us to live these days by the minute and savor them, because life is not meant to fly by. When we look back at these years, each one of us will remember them differently. Because despite each one of us being here with the same cap and gown and soon the same diploma, we've all had very different experiences that have carved us into the person that is sitting here right now. And no matter what anyone says, graduating is an accomplishment each one of us should be proud of. The privilege of education, of supportive teachers, and an incredible community is not something everyone can say they have, but I can. I can proudly say my years at Crescent Valley High School have shaped me into someone that is ready for the future, but is even more excited to live right now. So, can the class of 2025 live it up their entire lives? Thank you.
Good evening. We've learned at Crescent Valley the importance of taking the first step. This act of courage, often alone and isolated, allows for greater understanding and change. I ask that all of you continue taking that first step on whatever your next step may be. When you stand up for an ideal, act to improve the lives of others, or move against apathy and indifference, you set forth an example that others will follow. At the beginning, you will feel alone, but not for long. The world yields slowly to those who press forward, but it still does yield, and history has never belonged to the silent or the still. The late Bobby Kennedy said, "Few are willing to brave the disapproval of their fellows, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. Moral courage is a rare commodity in bravery and battle for great intelligence." Yet that is exactly what is demanded of us. Not just intelligence or ambition, but the courage to act. This class has exemplified that every single day of the past 4 years. It's been spoken in hallways and boardrooms, performed on stage, created in art studios, played on courts and fields and tracks, written in essays, and printed in the school newspaper. These acts didn't begin as the loudest or the most followed. They began as quiet acts of resolve. There will be voices telling you that you won't make a difference, or that you must take a few steps back. These voices belong to fear, not truth. It's easier to follow the script, to avoid the pushback, but nothing has ever improved unless someone gets a little inconvenient. This class has never been afraid of that, and we know what happens when we push, and we know what happens when we don't. There will always be pressure to step back, especially at our age, and that's when you step forward. For it was one young teenager, Sophie Scholl, who stood up to fascism with words instead of weapons. It was a monk, Martin Luther, who challenged an empire with paper and a hammer. One girl, Malala, faced a gun because she believed women belonged in classrooms, and it was one general, George Washington, who walked away from power when he could have seized it. Each of them alone had the conviction to act, and others followed. So as you step forth on your next journey, remember, it's not times of comfort or stability that define your character, but the times where you choose to speak, to act, to care. You don't have to move mountains every day, but it's the daily effort and love that defines who you are. So go forth with compassion and determination. We've learned so much from each other these past years, and now it's time for the world to learn from us. Thank you, class of 2025, and go Raiders!
Thank you, Zoe and Alex.